Welcome to the 21st Common Session of Sunoikis Digital Classics 2016. I am still at the Center for Hellenic Studies in Washington, D.C., where last week I presented the work that we have been doing for Sunoikis Digital Classics in these 2 years, and we are still working for next semester, and I will post about it. But today we have a new guest, who contributed to Sunoikis also last year. He's Professor Levan Gordeziani. He is a professor of ancient history at the Institute of World History at the Ivane Yavakishvili Tbilisi State University in Georgia. I apologize for my pronunciation. And today, Professor Gordeziani is going to talk about their new project for digitizing Greek inscriptions from Georgia. So they have a project for specifically for digitizing Greek inscriptions, a huge collection, and they are working on this project. Welcome, Levan. Thank you for your contribution. Welcome to Sunoikisis, and now I think you can start.
Thank you, Monica. Hello, everybody. It's an honor for me to meet you the second time, the Sunoikis common sessions. This time I'm going to speak about digitizing Greek inscriptions in Georgia, a big project founded by Rustaveli Foundation. It's a national scientific foundation. So, digital humanities in Tbilisi started with winter school 3 years ago when Monica and Simona came and had very interesting introduction to digital humanities. Most of our team today were students at this winter school. I attended it also and learned very much. It was very interesting, and I saw that there are lots of new possibilities which the digital humanities propose us. Now, I'm, of course, an old-fashioned scholar who works more with texts in traditional way, but I'm open for new things, and I saw that there are two main perspectives here. One is that you can dig deeper and get information that was impossible to have in traditional way, and the other is that you can work in teams and you can have new working places for young colleagues and students, and perhaps their work is not less important than the work of old professors. So, in these both directions, I see perspectives of our project I'm going to talk about is not the only one. Last year we had Thucydides project. It was also as if a continuation of the common session. We had there were 3 professors, Irine, Darchia, Gordeziani, and me. We had 3 PhD students and 1 MA student. They prepared the papers for this project. I hope it will be published in a volume soon. And besides 2 more or less traditional articles, this Mariam Gogaladze, Relevance of the History of Thucydides for Modern International Relations, and Anna Georgiani, Interpretation of the History of Thucydides from 20th century's ideological point of view. There were 2 that used these methods of digital humanities. Tamara Lejava, Lexical and Statistical Analysis of Vocabulary of the History of Thucydides using digital methods, and Tatiana Paralidze, Structural Organization of the History of Thucydides. So we are not the only group who is working with digital philology. The same 2013, it was another winter school in Tbilisi for Georgian philology, where partners were Ivan Javashvili, Tbilisi State University and University of Frankfurt, and Professor Jost Gippert and Professor Manan Tandashvili came from Frankfurt, and a team from our university started with them to work on Georgian philology with digital methods. We have also a project in Ilia University, another university in Tbilisi. They are doing this digitalization of Georgian inscriptions, and you see they have already a site, and they have also prepared a few two Greek texts. Very important and famous texts. We will talk about them, but now I can show you how it works. So it's mostly in Georgian. You see, it's the description, and then you have.
Levan, yeah. You have to share the screen because, yeah.
Excuse me. I'm talking without.
I was not sure about that, so.
So it works now?
No, not yet. Yes, now, okay.
I see something strange now.
Okay, excellent. Now we see your slides. Excellent.
Yes, but no, there were some other slides.
Sorry, I was not sure.
This project I was talking about. This was winter school for Georgian philology, and now this a site for Georgian inscriptions, and they have also here. Do you see now this? Monica, do you see this site?
Yes, yes, I was muted. We can see the slides, and now the website.
Yes, it's in Georgian, and we have here critical edition, diplomatic edition of the text, and XML. Unfortunately, only from the text without this all data in normal view, not in XML. So it's one text, the text of Vespasian, and also this Armazi bilingual. You can see in the same view. So now we are preparing a new project with Professor Tassilo Schmidt from Bremen University. We are going to ancient inscriptions from Georgia till the 7th century AD. They are Urartian texts. It's a collection of our museum, Aramaic, Greek, Latin, and Georgian. But the greatest part is Greek texts, and we'll talk about them later. Now I want to show you the new discovery last year in Grakliani, Gora. Professor Vakhtang Licheli is the director of our Logical Institute, found there with his students a new strange inscription. It seems to be early Aramaic. The level of this, is from 8th, 7th centuries. But in lab from America, they told him it's 11th, 10th century, some samples he sent to them. So it's to check again, because 10th century for Aramaic is too early, not only for Georgia, but for the whole world. So we are very interested in these new finds, and we hope we'll have other interesting things from this Grakliani Gora. It's near Tbilisi. Perhaps it's ancient city of Caspi. Now our project. This is a running project, Greek Inscriptions in Georgia online catalog. And as I told you earlier, it's funded by Rustaveli Foundation, the National Scientific Foundation of Georgia. So the first question is what we mean under Georgia, because historically it's changed. And now we mean the modern state in internationally recognized borders. So have inscriptions found or preserved in modern Georgia. So I can show what's Georgia, this small country, it's Black Sea, and another view. Here you see Georgia in internationally recognized borders, and these two breakaway regions that are occupied now by Russians. It's very important also for us, because lots of inscriptions are from Abkhazia, and now we are not sure where are these inscriptions that already described in our corpus, and also there are some new finds, and we have not full information about it. So here you can see ancient Georgia, two main kingdoms, Colchis and Iberia. So now the inscriptions. There are several hundred of Greek inscriptions and graffiti from the 6th century BC till modern times found or preserved in Georgia. So we can't say the exact number, because the majority of them are fresco inscriptions, and it's not easy to say it's one when one fresco is inscribed with many inscriptions. It's not easy to say it's one or many inscriptions on this wall. So in our corpus, this one fresco has one number, and these smaller parts of this fresco inscriptions have not independent numbers. And the other is that there are new finds. We are not sure that we know about all of them, but so we have several hundred. And circa 150 inscriptions and graffiti are of ancient times, from 6th century BC till 7th century AD. And of course, this 7th century is a relative break, but it's an important break in Georgian history, and also for the inscriptions. So we prefer to take this border for this limit for our inscriptions and this online database. They were edited many times. The first editions of few inscriptions were from the 19th century, Pamelovsky, Latishev, then Zareteli, Simokalchishvili published findings. The first corpus was published by Tina Tingalchishvili, my grandmother. It was her second dissertation, its equivalent of German habilitation, in 1951 in Georgian. Then in 80s she checked all inscriptions, gathered new ones, and during more than 10 years, she prepared this corpus. But the beginning of 90s was quite difficult time with civil war, etc. in Georgia. And so it was possible to publish this corpus only in 1999. I was editor of this corpus, and there are 3 editions of it. The first is 99, then 2004, and 2009. It's also because of difficult situation in Georgia. We have to printed only 100 or 150 copies, and when they were out, then we printed again. But both the second edition has addenda with few new texts, and the third edition from 2009 has also some new texts. You see here this corpus. It's like that. So, and another book, it's printed in 2002. It was a PhD dissertation of Marika Nasidze, Greek graffiti from Georgia. It's in Georgian. Because I'm grandson of Tina Haukchishvili and editor of this corpus, I have this copyright of these texts, and that's why we decided to make it. So we have right to do this. The other editions are in Inscriptions Grecas. There are only few texts where Colchis or Iberia mentioned, and there are few other texts found in Georgia, also in Supplementum Epigraphicum Grecum. So in this Packard Humanity site, we have only, I think, 28 texts, and only in transcribed. I can show this site. For example, it looks like this. For example, the first is this Armazi bilingual. And so we have text on this side, and the other side is Brill Online, where this Supplementum Epigraphicum Grecum, but it's not free, and it's quite expensive. I can show what you can see free here. Here are some it looks like this. And as I see, here not all inscriptions also, and not all of them are using the main bibliography, because this bibliography in Georgian and Russian, it's not so easily available. And sometimes also there are some mistakes or uncertainties in citations. No, it's also that's why that this Georgian, it's yet no standard transcription of Georgian names. For example, my name you can see in 2 versions: in German with Gordeziani with S, in English and French with Z, and especially the name of my grandmother, Haukchishvili. It's not so easy to say for Europeans, and also to write. In all languages are different, and that's why you can see even in this edition I think four different versions of her name. It's one person. So So our team, Dr. Levan, Professor Irine Darchia, Levan Gordeziani, Professor Eka Kobakhidze, Dr. Natia Pipia, and Anna Georgioliani, PhD student. So a few years ago, we discussed with Irine the possibility of making such a project, and at that time, the other colleagues came to me with mostly the same ideas, and so we decided to do it together. And as I told you already, most of them attended this winter school in Tbilisi, and Anna Georgioliani was also in Bulgaria to a summer school in Sofia University, and special thanks to Dimitar Iliev, who consulted Anna Georgioliani in Sofia, and then he came in May and June. Now he was in Tbilisi, and he helped us with different problems we had during our work. And I think it was very useful for our team, so in solving special problems, and also in the sense of getting self-confidence, and I hope we'll make it this year. Also, Dimitar helped us to talk with programists, and you know this problem that humanitarians and programists need a person who can translate, and so Dimitar helped us also in this case. So what we are doing now, we are digitizing circa 150 inscriptions and graffiti from 6th century BC till 7th century AD. So we already have photos, drawings, text of the inscriptions, and apparatus in Word format. So the result of first stage of our work looks like this. Example, it's a new finding from Tscheta, a golden ring. See, Vasilisa Ulpianaxia. So, and what we prepared for this moment, that is 150 texts in this view. And now we started to do it in XML format. So we're working on digital version of bilingual edition of the text created in Oxygen XML editor. We're working on the site compatible with related databases. And after the project is completed, an electronic bilingual English-Georgian database of Greek inscriptions found in Georgia will be available for everyone. So we think that search possibilities will be much more than in corpus. I remember when we worked on this corpus, we had different kinds of indices, but it was, of course, not enough for every interest. And now we have much more possibilities to search on this site. It's number given by us, number in other editions. So it's mainly this two corpora of this corpus of inscriptions and the other corpus of graffiti. And also, of course, the numbers from supplementums and name, material, and I can say that they are very different things. There are stone inscriptions on the clay, some parts of amphora, inscribed tiles, on different metal objects, and so on. The paleographic characteristics of the text, date, of course, find spot and provenance, original location, last recorded location, Bibliography, text of inscription, its original form, text, reading inscription, translation, scholarly comments, photos and drawings, etc. We're not sure, perhaps there will be some other who can see it during this work. And as I can show you some selected inscriptions. So it's a famous Armazi bilingual. It's found in 1940 in Tscheta, ancient capital of Tbilisi, and the inscription is in two languages, in Greek and Aramaic. This Aramaic is the local version. Some scholars call it Armazian Aramaic. It's an epitaph of a young lady, a noble. You can see here this Greek text from the bilingual. She died at 21. And here are named king, some nobles at the court of the king. One was father of this, another was husband, and so on. So the next inscription is inscription of Vespasian. It's dated in 75 AD, and here you can see that Vespasian helped by rebuilding of some repairing fortifications in Tscheta, and Vespasian is here named, his sons Titus and Domitian, and also the king of Georgia, of Iberia at that time. This is also a very interesting inscription. It's a bronze tablet from 3rd century BC. It's found in Vani. Vani is the most important archaeological site in western Georgia, Kolchis, and there are many small inscriptions from Vani, some inscribed tiles and other small objects, but it's an inscription, and here we can see the name of Vani. It's Surion, Surium, and we know this ancient name from Vani from this inscription. It's a bronze tablet, a fragment of a bronze tablet, perhaps a sacred law, and you can see here also the names of the main deities. It's Gaia, Helios, and the sun and the moon, and they are the same gods which are restored from the Georgian folklore. So we can see that in mountains of eastern Georgia, so we can see that the same gods we have in Vani, in Kolchis, and in folklore of eastern Georgia. So here we can see another object. It's a gemma in a golden ring with name of Asparoukis Pitiaxes. This was found in Tscheta in a grave, and Pitiaxes were important figures at the court of Iberian kings. it's a discussion about it, who they were actually, and in Georgian chronicle we have a period when Iberia was divided in two kingdoms, but some scholars think that it's Pityaxis was the title of ruler of one part of Georgia. It was not a proper king. King was Basileus, but Pityaxis was more or less equal in rank to him. So it's one opinion. And we have different Pityaxis in Iberia till the 5th century BC. The last was Varsken, the husband of Saint Shushanik. The Martyrium of Shushanik is the first Georgian text from 5th century that's kept. And the last one, it's a newly found inscription from Tscheta in 2001, and as I know, it's published only here. And now our colleagues from Bremen, Professor Schmidt, Dr. Kappel are going to speak about this object at the conference in Tbilisi in October. So it's a box for pens from silver. It's a very rare find, and you can see here a few inscriptions. Here's the object whole, and here we can see some parts. So on the top we have inscription Basileus Ustamu kai tu Evgeniu, so the king Ustamus and Eugenius, or perhaps better, the king Ustamus, he is in the same time also Eugenius. This form kai tu Evgenio is sometimes used for this, that a person has to show that the person has two names. This king Ustamus or Eugenius were not known from other sources, so we have a name of a new king from this object. Also, here we have on this box, you see the muses, Clio, Euterpia, and Terpa and Thalia. So you can see here all 9 muses, this object, and have 3 writers, it's Homer, Demosthenes, and Menander. It's a very interesting object with such inscriptions, and that shows cultural relations of Iberian court and nobles to Greek culture, not only to Roman policy, but also to Greek culture. So it was very shortly what I wanted to say about this project. I hope when it's finished it will be free for everybody, and I think we are going to do so that you can download these XML files with all data about the text, not only inscription, and it will be very useful for all scholars who need these texts and can do from it something else what our site cannot propose. So, thank you.
Levan, thank you very much. So I think this is really a very, very important project. There are questions. We have people in the Hangout. Yes, it's an impressive collection. Has Anise, right?
I was too quick. Yes. But I hope if there are some questions about some texts or other things.
Yeah.
So the project is not in the stage to show how it works, everything. So it's more the plans. And you know much better than me how normally these databases work. So I wanted to show what material we have and what we are going to do.
No, of course, Levan, I understand. Well, the project is a huge project, a big project, and I know that you started, well, with the summer school, the winter school when we came in 2014 to Tbilisi, Simona and I. So, of course, we need time, but I'm very happy to see where you are now, because the collection is big. And so you had to, well, now you have funds, so this is the first important thing. You have a team for working, so you need time. But I'm very happy to see that the project has started, and so you're working on it. And I have a question. So these inscriptions are mainly in Tbilisi now, so of course they come from different archaeological sites, I imagine, but where they are stored? In the museum?
No, some inscriptions are placed in churches, the frescoes, of course, and some inscriptions on the churches, on the walls. They are in different places. But in Tbilisi, we have most of them in Tbilisi. We have a big lapidarium for these ancient things, but also in some other museums. We had some objects in museum in Sukhumi. Unfortunately, it's not so easy to reach these objects and information about it, but we try via our Russian and Abkhazian colleagues to do this and to have updated information about these objects in Sukhumi Museum. Also, in Kutaisi Museum are a few objects. In Mestia, in Svaneti, it's in mountains of Western Georgia. And most, of course, are in National Museum in Tbilisi.
Okay, thank you. Yes, of course, again, as part of the project, given, as you mentioned also before, due to the situation in Georgia, it's not easy to get information about every inscription. We know that for other inscriptions from other countries where the contemporary situation is easier, but so this is another part of the project. And another thing, so do you have photographs, pictures for most of these inscriptions, and are you going to publish them online?
Yes, of course, we are going to publish pictures and drawings, because sometimes pictures are not so good. From these objects that are lost or not available, we can find old photographs and drawings, and for others we will leave new. We have contract with our museum, and most of these objects are there in Tbilisi. We will get them, and also the right of publishing them. And I can say that my grandmother had a large collection of these pictures and drawings, but unfortunately it was burnt. It was fire at her home, and major part of these drawings and photos are lost, but fortunately they are in museum and in some other institutions, so we can replace them. We only need time and perhaps also money to get these pictures again. But
okay, yeah, well, yeah, this happens sometimes, unfortunately. And there is a question by Gabby in the chat, yes, about have you managed to make new autopsies of many artifacts? Yes, the other question. So are you going to well, new autopsies and then also a new edition of the text. So this is the idea?
Yes, some texts we'll prepare a new edition, because there are some novelties about also old texts, and new readings. So we'll try to show everything what exists about these texts. But of course, if we have some, if we prefer one reading, so we'll say it. But we hope to show all possible readings and to show the all bibliography.
Okay, so the thing, yes.
Is the question that do you have computer scientists? No, we have contract with computer scientists, and they will help to do this site. Unfortunately, on the first stage, it was very short time to write this project and get money for it, and there were only our colleagues. But no, young generation, you know, they all speak English and no computer, so it's easier for them to learn new things. But now we have also two young programists, and as I told you, Mitko helped us to first conversation with them. And now I'm sure that it will be the working site at the end of this, in the May, when this project will be finished. But of course, we need then some technical personnel to keep it updated and to gain new material, because there are some very interesting texts that are outside of Georgia, but they are connected with Iberia or Colchis. For example, there are some in Rome, this epigram of Yodmangan, I think. He was a follower of one of Roman Caesars, and it's in Rome, and it's published in Inscriptions. There are a famous silver dish is in Hermitage in St. Petersburg with Apollo from Phasis and so on, and perhaps we'll take also these inscriptions and so we think about also, as I told you earlier, about other ancient inscriptions from Georgia, and also these fresco inscriptions are very interesting. They are not only sometimes there are some interesting things for historians also. It's not only philological or religious interest in these fresco inscriptions, but also historical. So we think about it, but I don't think that I will do it. There are some other specialists of it, but I hope this site will connect some other peoples and have some continuation.
And I have a question about the fresco inscription. So are they still in the archaeological sites, or they have been removed? And what is the situation? So the preservation is still good. So because frescoes inscription can be damaged.
Yes, it's a big problem because it's not only from archaeological sites, from churches.
Yeah. You said that.
Yes, and the churches belong not to museum, but to Georgian Patriarchate.
Yeah.
And of course, they have their own rules, also by restoration. And unfortunately, not always is this scientific method of restoration of a church or frescoes acceptable for government or church. For example, it was a very important church, ruins of very important church in Kutaisi, Bagrati from 11th century, one of the first churches of the first king of United Georgia. who was first king of Abkhazia, then became king of Georgians, and gained also some other thrones from different Georgian kings, and unified this kingdom. So this church Bagrati, it was destroyed in 19th century. It was an explosion there, and now it's restored. But we had no photos and no drawings from this church. And of course, restoration was mostly a fantasy of the architects and others. And sometimes with fresco is the same problem. If the church or local authorities want to have it in a special way, not always scientists can help there. But mostly in these main churches in Svetitsko Valley, it's the cathedral in Mtskheta, in the ancient capital of Iberia, and the first church. The first church was built there in the 4th century. What now we have, it's from 11th, but it's officially the first one, church number 1 in Georgia. We have lots of inscriptions there. And also in Kutaisi, it's Gelati monastery and academy, founded by David IV in 11th century. We have also lots of inscriptions there and in quite normal condition.
Okay, thank you. Well, this is a known problem for frescoes inscription, so.
And with mosaics also, because we have some of them are now in museum, but some the sites, for example, Zalisa, it's near Mtskheta also, it's a villa and terms in Roman style. So there are also inscriptions from this Zalisa, and they are placed and not in the best condition, but still visible, and I hope now they start to restore it.
Okay, excellent. And going back to technology, there is another question in the chat by Gabby. Yes, imaging technologies.
Yes, perhaps, I don't know, I haven't tried it yet. But perhaps it can help, but not on this stage of the project. Of course, I knew what is possible to do, especially with these clay tablets with cuneiform script, with Assyrian, Hittite, Babylonian texts. There's huge progress in this sense. But our texts, well, perhaps in a few cases it will help, but it's not a part of our project at this moment. Okay. Perhaps when we publish it, well, then we can see what's possible to do, and then we have some consultations with colleagues. It's easier to show them what we have and to think about with which new technologies we can work on these texts to read more information from it.
Yeah, I think that the importance of the project now is that first you work, well, in inscriptions preserved in Georgia, and then, as you said, maybe you can include inscriptions that are now, Georgian inscriptions that are now in other countries. So this project is important because it's you can start with a sort of catalog, so you collect information, and then when this information is available, accessible, there are many possible other projects working on pictures, on restoration, and then, of course, different specialists can focus on different aspects of the collection, historians, epigraphists, and then given that we have fresco inscriptions on many other aspects. So this is the importance of this project. So I'm really very happy to see the progress. So I don't know if there are other questions. So I think we have, so no questions I'm seeing the chat, but we have the class outline, we have the link to the website. So Levan, really thank you very much for this presentation. I see I'm very happy to see this, because we talked about that when I was in Tbilisi, and now I see that we have the project. The project exists and we are working on it. So really, for the community, for the digital humanities community, this is really very important. And so thank you. I think that now today our session is over, but we stay in touch definitely, also because we will have our Sunoikis Digital Classics next year in 2017. So I'm sure that at that time you will have new things to tell us about the project. So Levan, thank you very much. Thank you. Yes. And say hi to your collaborators, because I remember them. I met them when I was in Tbilisi, so I still remember the school, which was really very, very interesting. And so we will see next week. We still have 2 common sessions before ending our semester. So see you next Wednesday at 5 p.m. And so, well, I am in the US. I can't say good night this time, but for people who are in Europe on in the same time zone, so good night and see you next week. Bye and thank you. Bye, Levan.